find the slope of the line. Okay, we have our x-axis and our y-axis, and we have this line. Okay, and we want to find the slope. Well, remember, slope is the change in y over the change in x, or rise over run. Okay, so how far up or down it goes is the rise, and how far from side to side would be the run. Okay, on this line, let's find 2 points. Here's a point, and when I'm looking for a point, I'm looking for where the line crosses an intersection of our graph paper. And I see a point there, and there's also a point on the origin, so I'll use that. And in this graph, each unit represents 1. Each segment of the graph paper represents 1. So we have 0, so this point is 0, 0. And then this point would be negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 5 and negative 1, 2. Right? Because we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. And then we go down negative 1, negative 2. And that's where that dot is. So we have 0, 0, and negative 5, negative 2. Now we want to find the slope. The way we do that is we can pick either point to start at. It doesn't matter which. Let's start at the one on the left. And we want to find what's the change in y. How do we get from this point to the other point? So we have to go up 2. 1, 2. So write a plus 2 there. And then how far to the right do we have to go? We have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to go 5 to the right. So we have to go plus 5 in the x direction. So we go plus 2 and plus 5. And it's going to be the change in y, or the rise, will be plus 2. And then the change in x is a plus 5. So our slope's going to be 2/5. So we can write it as 2/5. Now, I also want to show you a way to do this if you're just given the 2 points and you don't have a graph. So let's draw a t-chart, and we have our x and our y t-chart, and just plug those 2 points in. And it doesn't matter the order. So let's do the same order, negative 5, negative 2. So I write the negative 5 on the x side and the negative 2 on the y, and then 0 and 0. And then I'm going to ask the same questions. Well, how do I get from one point to the other? Well, how do I get from a negative 2 to a 0? Well, if you picture a number line, negative 2 is over here, and I have to go 2. I have to go plus 2 to get from a negative 2 to a 0. So it's plus 2. And then how do I get from a negative 5 to a 0? Well, again, picture a number line. You have 0. Negative 5 is over here, and you have your plus direction and your minus direction. To start at negative 5, you have to go to negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and then 0. So you have to go plus 5. Plus 5. And so we have our plus 2 in the y direction and plus 5 in the x. And remember, always put the change in y on top. So our answer is going to be 2 over 5. It's a plus 2 over a plus 5. And that's our slope. And you'll see you get the same answer as if you were to pick 2 points on the line. So if you use those 2 points, you can use the t-chart to figure out the slope. You can also graph it out. Okay, let's say you have a problem where it gives you the slope. Let's say the slope of 1/3, and they say it passes through the point, passes through 1, 2, and they want you to graph it. So graph the line that has a slope of 1/3 and passes through 1 and 2. 1, 2. Well, let's draw our graph. Well, let's put the point on the graph first. 1, 1, and 2. So 1 and 2. There's our point. Now to draw the graph, remember the slope is simply the change in y over the change in x. Well, we have a point, so we can start at that point and find another point that'll be on the line by using the slope. And remember, the slope in this one has a change of y of 1, so plus 1, and a change of x of 3. So if we go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, we'll get another point on the line, and then we'll be able to draw the line, and it'll look something like that. So it has a positive slope, and remember the positive and negative. So it should, when you read it from left to right, it should go up. So that's a positive slope, and then it also has a slope of 1/3. So these are just a few things that you can do with slope, and I hope it makes a little bit of sense for you.